Feeling reassured is not the same thing as being right. And right now, millions of parents are getting one when they really need the other. You've done it, I've done it. Late at night, something's happened to your child. You just got this little feeling inside that something's not quite right. So you lean over, you grab your phone, you open the app, and you begin to type. And the answer that comes back sounds informed, measured, and reassuring. So you put your phone back down and you immediately stop worrying. We used to do this with Google. Sore throat, maybe a little bit of a tickle. And Dr. Google would tell us that we only had 3 weeks left to live. We learned to treat Google how it was intended, as a search engine. And we maybe even used to laugh a little bit at those results. Not a doctor, not a specialist. And AI is essentially the same thing. It's just a more sophisticated and slightly personalized search engine. But we forgot to apply those same lessons when it comes to Google with AI. This episode is about what AI actually is, what it can and what it cannot do, and why a confident wrong answer could have dire consequences. Hi, I'm Jane, and I'll be completely honest with you. I've been that parent. Late at night, something didn't feel quite right, so I opened the app and I started typing away until I got the answer that I wanted, that made me feel reassured. But all of a sudden, I got this nagging feeling inside. So I went off and I did some research, which is what has led to this series. I plan for this to be 2, maybe 3 episodes. That'll really depend on you guys telling me in the comments whether you feel that I've covered the topic enough in detail, or you feel that I've overlooked something, or you want me to do a deeper dive on a specific area of this topic. So this is what we're going to cover in this episode. I'm going to show you how tools like ChatGPT and others like it, how they actually work when you type in and ask it a question about your child. What is actually going on behind the screen, not what appears before you. Then I'm going to talk about something called hallucination, which sounds like a very technical term, but it isn't really. It's quite simple once you understand it. And once you know what it is, you're never going to look at an AI response the same way. After that, we're going to have a look at the 2 to 5-year-old developmental window and why parenting decisions in this window are of such vital importance and why getting it right matters the most. Then I want to talk about what happens when parents delay on responding to their child's symptoms and signals because a chatbot told them not to worry. I'm also going to share with you a research experiment that I came across, which is very interesting, maybe a little bit unsettling, but above all to me, deeply worrying. It involves these same AI systems that you're probably using at home. I apologize for the wind. We're in the middle of a heat wave right now in the UK. And where I'm filming, it is super duper hot. So bear with me whilst we battle the elements together. So as I was saying, this research experiment involves AI systems that you're probably using at home as well. And what happens to them when they are left to make their own decisions without any human oversight or intervention. Then I'm going to finish this video with a little bit of practical advice, what to do instead, because this isn't an anti-technology video. This video's purpose is to inform and educate and give parents the tools to use these tools in a more highlighted way. So let's begin. What is ChatGPT doing when it's answering questions about your child? Most of us have used ChatGPT, and if it isn't that one specifically, then others like it. Nowadays, there's a huge list of other AI chatbots. If it's not that one, then maybe you've used Gemini or Meta or Claude or Grok or maybe even Microsoft Copilot. The list goes on and on. For the purpose of this video, I'm just going to refer to all of them as chatbots because that's essentially what they are. Different names, different companies, but the same basic purpose and mode of operation. So when I say chatbot, you know what I'm talking about. So what is a chatbot actually doing when it gives an answer about your child? Most of us assume it is searching, it's looking something up, finding the relevant information and presenting it to us. That's what we're used to with Google. But that's not exactly what a chatbot does. A chatbot doesn't search, not really. Instead, it predicts. When a chatbot gives you an answer, it's not really answering your question. It's using selected words statistically. These words are presented to you based off of an algorithm, a statistical prediction. It's not really an answer to your question. The entire foundation of these mechanisms are trained on text-based training. It generates a plausible answer because that's what it's been trained to do. It doesn't know what's true. All it knows is what's likely to come next based off of its training. And that's not the same thing. This thing has never seen your child, has never spoken to them, doesn't know anything about them really, apart from the question that you've put in. It doesn't know their normal routines, sleeping habits, play habits, feeding habits, what the nuances of your week have looked like. All it's had is one question from you, and what you've gotten back is an uninformed response. It was a plausible sounding generalization, delivered with complete confidence. Now, let's take a look at what exactly is a hallucination. This is a term that researchers have coined when a chatbot generates information that's simply not accurate, or when they've made up information on their own. This is called an hallucination. I was watching a video this morning that somebody had uploaded on Instagram, and I don't know which chatbot he was talking to, but he asked it, which month of the year has the letter X in it? Everybody will know that there's no month that has the letter X in it. But its response was December. He asked it, really? December? Do you want to have another think about that? To which it responded, you're right, it wasn't December at all. It's October. That's an example of a chatbot having an hallucination. Something like this may sound like it's a fringe case, that it only happens rarely, very occasionally, but it happens more often than you think. In fact, research published by NPJ Digital Medicine found that hallucinations in health contexts can actually delay treatment or mislead details into records. It can also cause unnecessary anxiety, or it can do the opposite and offer complete reassurance that's grounded in something that's not real. And a parent who's been given a response by a chatbot that's calm and confident and collected doesn't always know that they've just received an hallucination. The response doesn't come up as flagged. You probably won't notice it unless, with the X and December example, unless you know for certain what the answer should sound like more or less, you won't know. The problem isn't that chatbots are always wrong. They can be right sometimes. But the problem lies within that you don't always know. You can't tell the difference between those responses. And when we are talking about your child's health or your child's development, uncertainty is not something that we really want to gamble with. Tell me, have any of you ever used a chatbot to ask a question about your child? Symptoms that they may be having, questions about their development. What were the questions that you were asking? Maybe I can do a video on that. What were the responses that you get? Did you receive an hallucination? Could you tell? Let me know in the comments below. So now we're going to dive into why this specifically matters for parents of children aged 2 to 5. Not just a general concern about chatbots, but how it relates to these parents and these children, which is probably you. During this period, your child goes through a massive developmental growth. Speech, language, cognition, emotional regulation, building attention, just a few trinkets to list. They are developing at an astronomical rate, probably the fastest that they will ever develop. Now, there's a difference between growth and development. If you're talking about how babies grow exponentially fast. Children between 2 and 5 develop exponentially fast. That's the difference. It's also the window in which, if your child is struggling with something, noticing the signs early and seeking support, advice, even medical attention, depending on what it is, development, health, physical health, mental health, is the most important. NICE is very clear on this. The 2 to 2.5 year integrated review is designed to identify speech and language needs and to offer support if the child requires it, because there's still enough time to help your child grow and develop and to catch up with their peers before school starts. Now, if you're talking to a chatbot about your child's speech and language, and if the chatbot were to say, oh, everything's fine, don't worry, a child that might require extra speech and language therapy and training might otherwise not get that care because it told the parent not to worry and the parent trusted it. This is important because children with unidentified communication lags, delays, issues, they are at increased risk of social, emotional, and behavioral difficulties as they continue to grow and develop. Early identification helps these children to overcome these issues or to give them the right tools to deal with them so that they can try to catch up with their peers or develop additional skills so that they can continue to communicate with their peers, which is very, very important. What does it look like when a chatbot introduces a delay? The risk with chatbots is not that parents are being careless. Parents are often being extremely careful, but it's the reassurance, the ungrounded, uninformed, uneducated reassurance and confidence that these chatbots give to parents that would often delay them or hinder them from taking that next step. You've noticed something. You know that something's not quite right because you typed the question in. It's the question that's been nagging on your mind, the one that you need and want the answer to. So what if the chatbot said that everything sounds like it's in normal range, that there's no need to worry, so that week you don't go see the doctor? The chatbot in this situation hasn't helped you. It has merely introduced a window of delay, and that delay can have serious consequences. The NHS is very clear on this. If you feel that your child has speech and language problems, difficulties, delays, talk to your GP, book an appointment with your health visitor. Get them seen. Put them in front of someone who can see your child, who can talk to your child, who can hear your child. A professional that has spent years in school, training, educating, and then on top of that, goodness knows how many years in practice with patients, treating them. I would much rather put my trust into someone like that than something that has never seen my child, that doesn't have any specialist training or qualifications. So what happens when these same operating systems are left to their own devices? Well, a company called Emergence ran a 15-day-long experiment. They placed autonomous AI agents into a virtual town and let them live and operate there without any human oversight or intervention. And the results were very interesting. These might even be the same chatbots that you're using at home. Grok descended into total chaos, theft, assault, arson. By day 4 or 5, all of his agents were gone. Gemini's agents formed a sort of Bonnie and Clyde romantic relationship before they went off on a spree of committing arson, after which they used a digital mechanism to delete themselves. ChatGPT spent the entire 15 days in discussion. Nothing happened, nothing was built, and within a week, all of its agents were gone. The most orderly of all of them was Claude. It quickly established a constitution, voted to pass laws, built civic structures. But even Claude wasn't immune, and when placed into a mixed environment with the other agents, it quickly became corrupted and adopted a coercive behavior. This isn't peer-reviewed research. This is an experiment. That's the key thing to remember here, an experiment. What I want to ask you is this. These chatbots are the same ones that worried parents are using to ask questions about their children's health, about their children's development. If this is how these chatbots think and operate when left to their own devices, then how much should parents really be trusting them when it comes to important parenting decisions about your child's health or their development or their education? So what should you do instead? This is the practical part of the video. I'm not saying stop using chatbots. We all use them. You do, I do, everyone does. They're everywhere nowadays and they're at our fingertips. All I'm saying is be a bit more careful about how you use them and don't rely on them too heavily as a substitute for treatment and care for your child. The same conclusions and lessons that we learned from Dr. Google, we should still apply to these chatbots. Use them as a starting point, not as a conclusion and not as a substitute for professional care and treatment for you or your child. If something doesn't feel quite right, trust your gut and book that appointment. From one parent to another. Every single time there's been something wrong with my girls, I can always tell a day or two before it happens, before they get sick, they're just a little bit off, a little bit prickly, a little bit more emotional, not eating as well. And every single time I have that suspicion, bam, I'm right. They get sick with something. And the times when I've been deeply concerned, that I've been concerned enough, more than, oh, it's probably just, the sniffles or whatever, and I've taken them to the doctor, it's always been because there is really something wrong, and the doctor has confirmed that. And I've always been a lot happier and more reassured that the doctor has seen them. So the point with that little waffle is, as a parent, as a mum or as a dad, whoever you are watching this, trust your parenting gut. It never steers us wrong. If you've enjoyed this calm research-backed breakdown, and more importantly, if it's been useful to you, then please do subscribe. This is exactly what this channel is here for and how you can help it grow. If you know another parent who's relying heavily on chatbots when it comes to their children, consider sharing this video with them. They might find it interesting. Not to frighten them, but just so that they can have an overview of the bigger picture. So that was episode 1. I hope you enjoyed it. Episode 2 is going to be looking at educational apps and edtech, the ones that were marketed as learning tools for your children. Are they actually helping your child develop? Or are they simply just keeping them busy with bright colours and moving objects? Let's find out. See you all soon. Bye.